everyone, it's Mary. Welcome back to my channel, and it is time for a mid-month wrap-up. And you're like, girl, you're wearing the same shirt. You are correct. I did laundry last night, put on this clothes, and I was like, I'm wearing the same outfit I was wearing yesterday. It's my favorite shirt. I don't know why. It's getting kind of worn, but I like this shirt, so I wash it and wear it all the time. Don't judge me, okay? Y'all know you got the same 3 outfits you're rotating in your wardrobe. Don't play. Just kidding. It is time for the mid-month wrap-up, and it's really funny because I don't have very many books to talk about, but I'm going to go ahead and do my mid-month wrap-up as Vlogmas Day 17. 17 days. Can't believe I've been doing this for 17 days. I only missed one, so I've done it for 16 days. Long story short, it is time for mid-month wrap-up. So here we go. All right. So I did not read very many books for the month of December so far. And the reason why is I kind of alluded to this in my favorite books of the year or whatever video. I like to reread books. So usually in December, especially during the holiday weeks, like the week of Christmas and the week of New Year's, I reread my favorite books. So I'll either reread my 7 series all the way through again, or I'll reread books that I read that year that were like top favorites that I just love. I'm already planning to reread several of my favorite books that I talked about in my other video. So this is why I don't have a lot of new books for December. This is just something I historically do every year. It's just as like a present to myself. Let's reread my favorite books. So I only have 5 new books to talk about, but the 5 new books were really good books. So I'm excited to talk to you about them. So it's a short video, but it's a good video, and I think that maybe when I do my monthly wrap-up, I'll talk about some of the books I reread and just talk about them again, because why not? All right, let me turn this a little so y'all can have a space for the book cover. Very first book I read this month was Think Outside the Box by Olivia Hayle, and this one was super cute. I got this one from a Facebook advertisement, true story. So if you're an author and you're like, do the Facebook ads work? They did for me because I got it off a Facebook ad. So this book, I can't remember the character's name, but I gave it 4 stars. And she moves into a new apartment in this city, and she's getting mail from the old person who used to live there, who is a woman. And she sees this invitation to this secret club that everybody talks about. It's like real secretive. You have to wear a mask to go in. Nobody knows who anybody is. She finds out that it's like a secret sex club, and she's like, look, I'm going. You only live once. YOLO. I'm going to put this woman's mask on. They won't know it's me anyway. And I'm going to go in and I'm going to use this invitation because I just want to see what it's like. So she shows up to this secret club, finds out it's literally like a secret sex club where people like get together for the night and then go home and nobody knows who names are. So she gets with this guy who breaks the rules for her, and he's like, super attractive. He totally knows it's her first time there, and he's like, girl, I'm gonna show you the ropes. And they take their masks off so they can see each other, which is like a big no-no, but they're in a private room and they have night together. She's just like, well, that was fun, but that's as wild and crazy as I get. They go home, no big deal, never gonna see each other again. Until she takes a new job and she makes a big boo-boo. Instead of replying or forwarding it to like there's this email about Thanksgiving and Thanksgiving party or something like that. And it was stupid and corny and not very thankful at all. And she's like, this is ridiculous. Your boss's dick, right? So she's forwarding it to her coworker to like, haha, he should try harder. Or I don't know. She makes kind of a snarky comment. But instead of forwarding it, she replies. And she replies to the boss. And he's like immediately pissed off. And her name is Frederica, and she goes by Freddie, so he thinks Freddie's a boy. He's like, get him up here. I'm going to give him for like, what? How dare he? How dare this man talk to me like this? I'm his boss? And it turns out being Frederica, who goes up to the office, and lo and behold, it's the man she met at the secret club. So this is another boss-employee romance. It was really sweet, and I actually loved this guy. He is such a sweet guy. So he's been hurt a lot. He's had some really bad relationships. He's actually raising his nephew because his sister and brother-in-law passed away. And he's very like standoffish in relationships because he doesn't want to hurt his nephew with a relationship that doesn't work because it happened when he was younger. So there's all this backstory of why he's even going to a secret sex club in the first place. And their relationship is adorable. I thought it was cute. There were a few things that like I was like, that's a little unbelievable. But it was a good book. It was a solid 4 stars. I definitely recommend that you check it out. The next book I read was actually a physical book, but I'm going to put the cover up here so I have to dig it out of my bookshelf, and it was Nico by Sarah Castillo. This is part of the Ruin and Revenge series. This series is an older series. I actually looked online because I love this book. I got this book at Goodwill for like 25 cents. And I actually really love this book, so I looked online. You can still buy these on Amazon. The paperbacks are going to be a little bit expensive, but they are on Kindle. They're actually a little expensive for Kindle books, but I really like them. I have them on my TBR list, and I'm planning on buying them and trying to read them in the next couple of months. But this one is sort of the start of the series. So you have Nico, who is a crime boss in Las Vegas. He's like in the mafia, and he is fighting with another rival family for control of the cities, and he's an illegitimate son, so he's not like the legitimate person who's going to get the role of the boss, I guess, the big boss, the godfather, whatever you want to call him. And that's why it's a big issue, because he's not legitimate. So his older brother is supposed to be married off to this rival family's daughter to create like a family tie, but Nico has feelings for her, so it's about like them deciding, do we go against our families to be together, sort of thing. But what I like about this book is it's not the mafia romances that you're used to reading. Like, we're used to like Cora Reilly and all these other that are like super sexy mafia, right? Like more modernized mafia, newer terms, newer slang, like they're modernized. This is old school. This is like Godfather. Old school American traditional mafia, so it's a different type of mafia feel, but it was good, and it was really, really well done. The characters have a lot of depth. I cannot wait to read the other two books, and I have no idea if Sarah Castillo just kind of gave up on writing the series, or if it was a trilogy all along. I don't know. I'll find out, but I'm definitely looking forward to checking them out. So please check out Nico by Sarah Castillo and the whole Ruin and Revenge series. It's really good. I can't wait to read the next two. But it's very old school. So it's not Cora Reilly. It's like Godfather, Al Pacino. That's the feel. The next two books I read go together. I'm sorry, my arm just like slid and made a farting noise. I didn't fart. It's all good. Anyway, I read The Truth About Lies by Martinez, and then the follow-up book, which is The Truth About Us. So they go together, and I can't really ruin the plot. I can't really talk into much depth without ruining some of the plot, so I'll try the best I can. So the book starts off with this man named Shane watching his wife get killed on like a FaceTime. So his wife is out in working, and she's staying in a hotel. He's at home, and they're FaceTiming each other before bed, telling each other about their day, and someone breaks into her hotel room and murders him. And he doesn't know exactly what hotel she's in, so he's like on the phone with the cops, literally watching his wife get murdered, and he's like screaming, "You have to find her, but sir, what hotel she's in? But you have to find her. I don't know what room she's in." And basically, by the time the cops get to her, like 29 minutes have passed, and he's watched her die, which is absolutely horrific. So big trigger warnings for the very opening scene, which absolutely blew me away. And his wife passes away, and he watched it all on FaceTime. So then you fast forward to present day, and he is on a mission to find the people who killed his wife and to do them in, basically. So he goes undercover to infiltrate these. They're kind of like, they're drug runners. They run prostitution, and he meets Cora, and Cora is, she has a history of prostitution, but she married one of the brothers, and she sort of made herself like the house mom. So she is in an apartment building filled with other prostitutes, basically, but she's trying really hard to get these young girls as they come in and like change their life, right? She's like, "Honey, you don't need to be a prostitute. You need to get away from here." So she tries to like mother them and mentor them, and she doesn't really actively work as a prostitute anymore, because this job that they've put her in is sort of like to work with the other prostitutes. I don't know how to explain it other than that. And she is trying to save up to get out of this lifestyle. She doesn't want it anymore. She's trying to buy herself out of this lifestyle. So then you have Penn. Shane's going by Penn now. Penn come into the story with his brother Drew, and they go undercover as maintenance men fixing broken things in the apartment, and that's how he meets Cora. But I can't go into too much detail other than to say that Cora And these drug runners are connected to the death of his wife. And so there's all these secrets that come out along the way about how she's connected to them, how she got into the lifestyle, how she's connected to his wife's passing, and all of this. And everything kind of comes out at the very end of this first book, and then it ends on a cliffhanger. And then when the next book picks up, it is just blowing all the lies out the window. All the things that you're like, what in the heck is going on? I'm so confused. I don't understand how these people are connected. It all comes out in the second book. And when I've read the first book, I gave the first book like 3.5 stars because I was like, I don't even know what's going on. It ends on a cliffhanger. But honey, by the time you get to that second book, holy smokes, it is amazing. And you have to read them both because it doesn't make sense. One without the other does not make sense. But the second book I gave 4.5 stars to. So together they're like a solid 4-star duet, and I'm obsessed. And there's actually another book that's like the story of Drew, which is his brother / brother-in-law, slight spoiler there, that I really want to check out because I liked Drew's character as well. Never read Allie Martinez before in my life, but I loved these 2 books, and I'm so glad I gave them a try. I almost quit after the first one when I was like 3.5 stars. I'm like, do I care enough to keep going? And then I was like, yes, I do. So I kept reading and like, holy smokes, I'm so glad I did. It's a great duet. You need to check it out. And then book number 5 that I read was By Sin I Rise Part 2 by Cora Reilly. I did a whole video about Part 1, which is up here. But I have to say, Part 2, what I hated about Part 1 is what I loved about Part 2. So you finally really see the 2 of them come together in this book. You see Marcella step up into her own person. You see her start to stand up against her parents. You see her really fight for that relationship with Maddox. I loved this book. It does. The first book ends in a cliffhanger, sort of. It's not a serious cliffhanger, but it's enough. And when you get to the second book, you're like, that wasn't really a cliffhanger. But I really think that it's so well done. I actually gave this one 4.5 stars as well. I didn't give it 5 stars just because there are a couple instances where I really wanted to smack Marcella upside the head. I have to be honest with you, she's not my favorite female character from Cora Reilly. I like her and Maddox together as a couple, and Maddox definitely is like near and dear to my heart, similar to like Ramo with his like, I don't give a fuckery kind of thing. I love guys that just like, I love you, not really care what anybody says about it. And he's definitely one of those guys. But I don't really know that I love Marcella. And I hate to say that because like I loved Luca and Arya. But I feel like, I don't know, it still comes across very young. Like, I'm not going to lie. It comes across very young. They come across like new adult. So, and it still does. But I just think that this book really developed that relationship fully. And you got to see them fight for who they were. I loved seeing Matteo and Gianna. I loved seeing Arya and Luca again. I loved seeing Amo and whoever the little guy was. Who was the little guy? Valerio? Was that his name? Whoever the youngest son was. I loved seeing more of them. I loved seeing more of Amo because I know that he's going to be a future book in the series, which I thought was really great. And also, I don't know how to explain this, so I'm just going to try my best to spit it out here. What am I trying to say? Oh. Also, the ending was great. So there's this beautiful epilogue at the end that's like 10 years later. And I got a little verklempt. I closed the book and I was like, my babies are all grown up. I'm old. But I loved it. And I definitely, I mean, I don't know. The only thing I can say is the people who were like, I hated part 1, you have to read part 2. Because if you're like me, some of the stuff that you didn't care for, she kind of fixes in this second book, a lot of it. But again, it does read very young. But again, it kind of makes sense that it reads young because it's the children of our peeps. You know what I mean? I don't know. I have mixed feelings on the reading young thing, but I do love. And I think one of the reasons why it's written the way it is because realistically, you're writing about the children of Luca and Arya. You want to see Luca and Arya, and how are Luca and Arya going to be portrayed in the book? As parents. So it's going to have like a young feel, because it's parents parenting a child. You know what I mean? Anyway, I'm going to shut up. It's a good book. 4.5 stars for By Sin I Rise Part 2. I love it. Love Cora Reilly. She is my lady. And I'm so glad I read Part 2 and I didn't give up on this couple. And that is it. Those are the 5 books I read for this month so far. It's a short mid-month wrap-up, but some really good books, and I hope you guys check them out. I don't know that my monthly wrap-up will be all that quicker, because again, I'm rereading books, but you never know. I might surprise y'all. All right, guys, I will see you tomorrow. Bye.